Hey guys, what's up? Jake here with another episode of On the Rise Music Podcast. Today, we are honored to have special guest, DJ, artist, vocalist, and producer, Dominik Dale. What's up, man? I love your
Hey,
music. How you
hey,
been?
thank you so much. I've been really well. Despite all this Corona stuff, I've been doing quite well for myself. Looking at trying to move out, so that's exciting times. But everything's a bit up in the air at the moment with the world. But the music stuff it's going very well. Thank you.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Now, speaking of like the music and everything, are you working on anything particular right now, or you're just kind of like just messing around with everything and just trying out stuff because of all the time you got?
Well, it's interesting. The coronavirus has actually brought me to be a bit more collaborative. Like I thought that I was going to be doing a very collaborative year, or like anyways, I was planning on it. And then everything kind of moved to Zoom. And like here we are. But yeah, everything moved over to Zoom and I started working online with a couple of my friends. And then as like Corona kind of eased, we started getting in the studio. So I've just been producing with my friend Travis and one of my other mates who like I only really quite recently met before all of Corona, and his name's Ned. And we've got a song coming out this Friday called "About You," which is super exciting. We wrote that just before kind of everything went tits up. So yeah, just working on that, working on some records for some other like singers, brands, and that. But yeah, it's going well. I haven't really done too much in terms of my own project. I've just been working for other people at the moment. I handle a lot of ghost production within
Okay.
the dance music scene around here. So yeah, just been busy with all that. I haven't really had much time to write my own songs at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, you're staying busy. Like you're getting inspiration from other, like you said, you're collaborating a lot more, which is great. You're
Yeah,
seeing perspectives that you weren't, or that you maybe weren't typically able to see before all this
100%.
happened. Because I'm guessing that you were a lot more self motivated. I mean, it's not a bad thing, but you were just
No,
you
no.
kind of focused more on your own career. And now, I mean,
Yeah, for
now you're
sure.
doing stuff. You're talking to people. You're learning new things, new perspectives. So, hey, great for you, man. Like I'm really
Yeah,
looking forward to what you're dropping on Friday. I mean, this is great, perfect timing. You get
yeah,
this
right.
out
It's
and
it's
put
like a
people
little
on.
promo reel for the song.
Exactly.
Um, but yeah, I'm super excited about this release. I got very high hopes with it. It's coming out on Central Station Records here in Australia. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's what's up. I mean, so am I. I'm sure a lot of our fans are looking forward to you and dropping those songs. So now, being from Australia, do you feel like
Yeah.
that has any inspiration or any like pull in the type of music that you're producing?
Um, I've never really thought about it like that. I kind of think of my sound as kind of like I've always explained it as boppy white girl music. Whenever I'm like, would a white girl just love this if it comes on and they're just like, yes, queen. Like it's kind of like that party by the beach sort of vibe. And then my bad behavior EP kind of took a bit of a downturn off that style. Um, like I wouldn't really say that location has been a huge influence. It's kind of just been a accumulation of all the music that I've been listening to over the years, and like they just come together to create a bit of a weird mold that I'm fitting in whenever I'm writing songs now. So yeah, like the if you've listened to the Time Machine EP, you can tell that that's a complete different game to
Hmm.
Bad Behavior, and like I'm very able to write songs that aren't related to me. So sometimes like the tone of a song will just completely spiral off and be something that's never aligned with my brand ever and probably won't see the light of day. And then like with Bad Behavior, even the title track was just like me experimenting with auto tune and just
Hmm.
seeing where it would take me.
Yeah, I mean, excuse me. That's really interesting that you say that you don't feel like you're defined by like your area. I know a lot of. I mean, it's more so in like hip hop and pop. that there are sounds for certain areas. Like you got the West Coast sound, you got the East Coast sound, you got the
Yeah,
Southern sound,
yeah,
and even if an artist isn't from that area, you can still hear the influence and everything. But
yeah.
I mean, it's I guess it's safe to say that that EDM and like and just house music in general, it doesn't really have a specific sound like for an area. So yeah, drawing from,
Yeah,
like you said, drawing from different inspirations is great because you don't box yourself in. You're like, okay, I like this, I like this, I want to put it together. And even
I
experimenting,
think
you're not a lot,
yeah,
you're not putting yourself into like that rabbit hole, that pigeonhole, and just confining yourself.
yeah. Like I think doing a lot of production for other people as well. You you tend to learn a new thing for said house genre or tech house or whatever, and then I'll be writing a pop song, and I'll be like, oh, let me try this that I did the other week and it worked. And then you do it and you're like, oh shit, that actually works.
Mhm.
Like, okay, cool. That's part of my toolbox now. It's like a thing that I can use that I would never have done if I didn't
Exactly.
expand outside of the tracks that I wanted to do. Like, it's quite funny. Sorry if I talk a lot.
No, you're
Um,
good. It's all you. This
I
is all
guess that is
you.
the point. Um, yeah, like when I first started writing music, I was heavy into like the hard style, like big room EDM scene. And I was like, yes, this is gonna be me. And then trap came about and I was like, this is gonna be me. Except I sucked. I sucked at making anything that sounded sort of remotely close to what was going on at the time. You've got like the classic like new producer syndrome of thinking you're freaking incredible
I get it.
and you're making like bleeps and bloops in
Yeah.
reality. But yeah, so that was a interesting switch to the more vocal driven stuff that I'm doing now, which is like a result of vocalists being too flaky for my liking and not getting things back. So I'm like, I'll do it myself.
Yeah, you want it done well, you got to do it yourself.
I fully kind of agree with you more.
Now you mentioned that that you kind of started off like kind of rocky and everything.
Mhm.
When did you start producing, and like did you ever play any instruments when you were growing up, or did you just kind of like listen to all this music and be like, I want to do this?
Yeah, so I've always been a musical child in terms of like singing. And like I did musical theater throughout school. So I did a musical every year. So that was
Mhm.
like good vocal training to kind of keep me on my toes. I don't believe in the music system at schools. It did not help, um, especially when the guitars at your school have less than five strings and the piano is always out of tune. So I was kind of like always able to kind of like tinker around, but never really grasp instruments very well. And then when I took on like electronic music production, then I kind of just I can hear the things being right or wrong, but like I couldn't put it on paper. And then studying at Icon, they have like a whole keys course. So like that's really helped me grow in terms of playing piano to actually understand what I'm doing
Mhm.
a bit better. And I'm still learning. So that's the best part.
Now,
Never
are you?
stops learning.
Oh, of course, of course. I've talked to many people about that. I mean, the best way to be best at what you want to do is you have to learn every day. You gotta just devote yourself, whether it's something small, maybe watching like a 5 minute YouTube video, like whatever it may be, a tutorial or
Yeah.
something, or just listening to music and just like not just listening to it, but focusing on what you want to learn and what you want to really get out of it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
I totally agree with that. With that, you never even, I mean, shit, you could be a professional and you could be like doing your thing, but that doesn't mean that you're not, like, you shouldn't stop learning because there's always room for improvement. You can always be better than you were yesterday. So
Yeah, like I'm always reading something. Like if I get if I get roadblocked in production, like I've always found myself to default to reading something, like not actively go out and look for something new, or even if it's just reading the manual to a plugin that I don't properly understand, like that is something that I encourage everyone to do because like it's the same way that like do you have IKEA there in America?
yeah,
Like and you get the furniture that comes in the
yeah,
little packs. you read the manual for them, and if you didn't, that thing would be a mess.
Oh,
And
definitely.
like it's 100% the same for music. It's like that person made the manual to teach you how to use it. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna read them instead of watch 30 hours of YouTube videos, getting
Yeah,
distracted
definitely.
about it and never really tapping into it. And then it's like, oh, that looks like a funny video, and then you're
Yeah,
down the
you
hole
just
of
in a rabbit
YouTube.
hole of YouTube videos.
Oh man. And now you got TikTok. No.
Oh, dear God. But that's, I mean, that's really interesting what you said about like reading manuals. I mean, I'm one of those people that is just like, just drop me and then I'll figure it out on my own. But I mean, I tried my hand at
Yeah.
music production. I'm gonna be honest. It was, oh yeah, it was, I couldn't like figure out how to like line stuff up and just to like, just make a beat in general. 'Cause I mean, I'm not much of a, I love music. So I was like, I'm just gonna try my
Mhm.
hand at production. But I mean, I like, have so much respect for producers and so much respect for engineers, sound engineers, like everybody who works on like production of music. So
Yeah.
like what you said, just reading manuals and getting more familiar with your equipment. Like what better way is there to become an expert than to literally just sit down and just read the manual? It's right in front of you
Well,
and it's
like,
just giving you everything.
yeah, it's them explaining how the thing that you're messing around with and not quite understanding actually works. And like over the course of like 6 years of learning to produce, it was only like year number 4 that I read the Ableton manual, and I was like, why? Why did I think that I could outsmart the system? It's like,
Yeah.
you know how everyone always jokes that men don't read manuals.
Yep.
It's so true. And now I'm like an avid supporter of it. My girlfriend and my family are like, what? A guy who reads the manuals?
Yeah, I know. Cut from a different fabric, but I mean, you want to be the best. Like, who can blame you? You really want to be top of your game. You want to be at the top of the house production, whatever it is that you're going into, pop music, whatever.
Yeah,
Like, of course, you want to be at the top. So yeah, you got to start from. I mean, same thing with textbooks. Like, that's what they're made for, to help you like study in
exactly.
class. So why would you not just sit down and just crack open the manual and just, I don't know, look over it for a little bit? Like you said, when you get stuck, you
Yeah.
just look over what you're trying to figure out. And I mean,
There- There'll always be a
yeah.
technique that you didn't realize was a thing,
Hmm.
and then you're like, oh, I'm gonna do that now. I'm gonna try that. And then sometimes trying that on a sample, 2 hours later, you got a whole song just because you got distracted. Like you got
It's a good
distracted
rabbit
by
hole. It's
learning
a
a
good
new
rabbit
trick,
hole.
and then you're like, oh, okay, that's a 5 minute podcast tune. Why? I don't know, but I learned something new. Like it's an amazing rabbit hole to be in. But like you
Definitely.
said, like it's a super competitive industry in terms of the fact that there's big numbers of people doing it.
Hmm.
And so if you're not trying to be better than the next person, you're falling behind.
Hmm. Oh, I totally agree. Now, you mentioned you study at Icon Collective.
Yeah.
How has that helped you like further your? Did you just start recently, and like how has that helped you further your knowledge
So
in production?
I finished in December last
Oh,
year.
okay. Oh, congrats, man.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, it was such a good experience for me. So before I started, so I actually wanted to go to Icon. I think it was 2014, 2015. I think around then was when like Jaws and stuff were coming out. And I was like, oh man, this school looks phenomenal. And I didn't really have the money together. My parents were like, I don't know if this is gonna be a flash in the pan sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like you just started producing. Do you really think that uh, like Australian dollars, like $23,000 course now? It was
Wow.
more back then. Like, and you can't get like student loan or like what Australians call HEX debt if it's an overseas course.
Oh,
So,
okay.
um, yeah, it kind of got brushed under the rug, but I was always interested. And then one of my friends, Sippy, did the course and kind of bit the bullet when it was a 12-month course. And that
Okay.
was intense for her because the time zones meant that her lessons were at like 4
Yeah.
a.m.
Yeah.
And then they started working more into the night. and my classes when I did it online were across 18 months, and it was way more reasonably timed, thankfully. Um, Earliest I ever had to get up was 5. But the whole process of studying there really kind of removed my self-doubt,
Okay.
and like because you've got weekly assignments, it was kind of you don't have any excuse not to learn right now
Hmm.
because you have to submit this week. And it's kind of helped me be a much faster producer.
Okay.
Like I believe that the term time is money, but it makes sense. Like if you can do a song extremely quickly, it'll probably be your best work. Like because you're not overthinking it.
Exactly.
So if you've got a like a guide that's like, this is the key of the song, this is what I want from you in the song, do it. You do it, and it's so
Yeah,
much easier.
definitely.
And like, yeah, it really taught me how to move quick and how to express what I wanted to in a much more efficient way.
Hmm.
And now I kind of know how to play the keys, so that's good.
Yeah, I mean, you got something out of it.
I mean, they did teach a very good keys course. I was just a bit slack with it afterwards, and then it just fell out the back of my mind. I was like, damn it.
But that's a great point that you mentioned. The whole thing about time is money, and you got to be on top of your stuff, and the fact that they give you those deadlines, it like pushes you to like. There's a lot of lessons that you learn. Maybe go like that. I'm sure you learned through going to Icon, that people learn through going to like school, that they aren't on like the syllabus, or they aren't on like the lecture on the lesson plan. So like you said, getting stuff out in a timely manner, getting stuff out before you like initially wanted to get it out, because yeah, of course, time is money, especially in a business like music production and just the music industry
Yeah,
in general. You want to beat the person, you want to beat whoever you're competing with to that sound, or to whatever you're trying to get to, because yes, of course, time is money, especially at such a high stakes like
yeah,
career
and
as production.
it's such a fast-paced career too.
Oh, definitely.
And oh yeah, I thought I might add that while I was studying there, I other than the song Time Machine, I wrote all 4 of the other songs at Icon while I was studying there. And then out of the new EP, I wrote Habits and Stay as like final assignments for songwriting course there. So like it definitely like if you take it seriously, kind of like repurpose things. Like if you're writing music for you but directing it towards an assignment, it makes a big difference compared to when people just go, okay, this is an assignment, I need to get it out of the way. It's
Definitely.
like, well, no, this is for your career to grow.
Hmm.
So I took it really seriously, and I guess when you don't have student loan and all those kind of like covers that make it a bit more comfortable, like I was having to pay however much it was a month. It was like about 1.5 grand a month.
Wow.
So I'm like having to get that together, working at a cafe, trying to make music money. Some weeks I'd just scrape through and I'd be like, whew, I am broke this week. But like, but it really motivates you to do better and to make the most of what you're actually doing. Like, I believe that like a bunch of like Australian schooling, at least, people come out of school and they get thrown into a uni course because their parents wanted them to, or they feel like that's the thing that they should do leaving
Hmm.
school, and they've now just developed this debt, but they don't feel like they're losing money yet, so they don't care. They kind of just drag it
Exactly.
out,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, I'm failing. I'm gonna have to redo that quarter." And I'm like, if I failed to have to redo a quarter, that's like $6,000 out
Yeah.
of my bank. Like it's going. Like I'm not doing that. And yeah, like I think if everyone had to pay for courses outright, there'd be a lot less people in courses and a lot more
Hmm.
that actually care about it.
Oh, definitely.
It's so
I
important to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm finishing. I'm on my last year. I'm rising senior over in here at a college in the States. But yeah, it's really funny because you get kids like literally what you said. You just get thrown into college and you kind of are like, oh, like I'm just gonna float through. I'm gonna get stuff done. But there
Yeah.
was a moment when I was like talking to a friend of mine, and she was like, she wanted to skip class, and then she just was like, yo, let's see how much it costs, like each class, each section and lesson.
Right, like
$200.
realistically putting it down.
Yeah, it was about $200 per section, and I was like, dude,
Right.
you want to throw away $200 today? Don't go to class. Like, you want to take advantage of the $200 that you're paying per class, and get that lesson in. And
Yeah. Well,
that was
realistically, you're paying for it anyway.
exactly,
If you
exactly.
go or you don't go, you
The university
still are
doesn't
paying
care.
for it.
Yeah, they're getting their
Yeah,
money.
they
Like
don't need
they're
to.
just like, okay,
Exactly.
and then that's why they wait till you get a 0 GPA, and they're like, all right, you got to go. We can't keep taking your money. Like this is just foul at this point. Um, but yeah, that was the moment that I was like, damn, like college
Yeah.
is expensive, and I started like, I felt like there was a fire lit under my ass, and I was like, dude, I gotta get assignments done. And after that, like my grades just improved.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't bad, but they definitely could have improved. And sure enough, like I'm just on top of my game. Like I'm just like I meet people who are younger than me, and I befriend them, like just hanging out with them and stuff. And I'm just like, yo, you gotta go to class. You like even if you don't take notes, because as like a lower as like an underclassman, all the
Mhm.
stuff's online. Just go to class, get your attendance, be there, and listen, and then all
Yeah.
your stuff's online. And then, trust me, you're going to be so much happier that you took
I
advantage and
think
weren't just sitting in class.
I think what's important with that too is like when people go and attend the classes, be in that class if you have everything online, like everything's there afterwards. Be in the moment in that class because when you're sitting there taking notes, you're not listening to the next thing that the
Exactly.
person's saying.
Exactly.
You've already missed the next three sentences.
Oh, yep.
And I know that for a fact that like if I open my phone right now and I just read one notification, I would miss like what you've said completely and be like, oh shit, I don't
Mhm.
actually know what we're talking about anymore. Like it's so important that like you're actually there. I used to get the voice memo app on my phone and record like in like the chats that I was having that were like the it's like a introductory to like college. Um when we were doing our English like year 12 year 12, what do you guys call it? Do you have it's like a
Uh,
high school
it's it's
certificate here.
it's the high school diploma.
Yeah, like when we finished high school, it was like for those exams, we went to like a university and went to like some full-blown study on something. I just recorded it on my phone and then when I got home, just typed up the notes. Like
Mhm.
it makes such a difference because you're there and you're like, okay, I'm absorbing what you're saying right now, and then I'll sort it out later.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I'm a big proponent, or I pride myself on note taking. I literally handwrite all my notes. But yeah, I mean, dude, you miss a lot. Like if a teacher is
Yeah,
moving through the slides, if she's just, or if like he or she is just like flying through, and they have so much information that I
yeah,
mean, it's just a lot of like sometimes the professor just has a lot of information. They don't know how to like break it up, make it interesting to the students because that's all they know, and they can't really
yeah.
connect because they're a lot older than us. So a lot of times, yeah, you miss a lot. So yeah,
Mm,
I mean that's a great way to do it. And I mean, even if you are taking notes and you're still recording the lecture, you can go back and be like, oh shit, I missed that. Well, that's an interesting point.
yeah,
Like I should just note that like in this little area, whatever it may be. But yeah,
yeah,
I mean, take advantage of the opportunities you have, and when you do, you will
yeah.
see the results later on. It's not gonna trust me. It's not gonna be
100%.
it may be short. It may be short term, but trust me, you're gonna see the long term results. And I mean, I'm sure that you are like more than grateful for having like busted your ass and like
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean
Yeah.
it makes you appreciate it that much more. Like you said, you were there were weeks where you're like shit, I'm broke, like I can't do anything. But I
Yeah.
mean, dude, you were getting your certificate at Icon Collective, like that's huge. and
Mhm.
and and I mean, hey, no one can take that from you. Like that you have
Yeah.
that, and you have that knowledge too, so like congrats, man.
Thank you. Yeah, it was such a good experience for me. Like, it's interesting when you work with other, like, music producers and stuff, you can really see who is in it to learn constantly and who's just doing it for, like, fun.
Mhm.
Like, I've been in the studio with someone and been like, "Oh my god, you know so much." And,
Yeah.
like, they just talk and, like, they go into detail and they know what they're talking about, and then you've got, like, some people who just Oh yeah. Here's like a song, and it's just like a basic drum loop and bass line, and you're like, okay, cool. Is every song gonna be this? Like, let's learn something new today.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, like that course changed everything for me. I think I would
Yeah,
put it on that for sure.
I mean, I mean, I can hear it. I mean, like you said earlier, you started off like really slow, and even then, you were like, "Shit!" Like, I thought this was good. So that's like
Mm.
really interesting.
What's
That
like the difference between my songs with you and searching, and then the two EPs? Like that's like even the first few weeks at Icon, I was like, whoa, my production's already stepped up because you go to this office hours, so like teachers come online and you
yeah,
can just go in and ask any question you have. And I would literally just sit here producing with my headphones on and then just like chime in when needed because sometimes you learn these hot tips that you wouldn't learn because you weren't there. It's
exactly.
like your lectures. It's like
Hmm.
go because you will learn something.
Totally.
Guaranteed. Every time you will learn something new. Guaranteed.
Yeah, I mean,
But yeah, that's so cool.
yeah,
Such a good
great,
place.
bro. That's a great mentality to have. Now you mentioned that you can like discern between artists and producers who are just doing it as a hobby and who are like
Mhm.
actually doing it because they're just grinding and they really love it. Was there when was that moment for you that you were like, I love this and I wanna pursue this?
Yeah, so I I was throughout high school, I've always been really motivated doing it. Like I started it about year 10, I think.
Okay.
And I was like just learning. I was using a software called Mixcraft, which was so bad. And I thought I was making banging songs. They sounded like old school, like acid house music that just made no sense. And like really bad drum loops. But then like as I got towards year 12 and stuff, I realized like I was getting kind of good at it and I kind of didn't really care about school because
Mhm.
it wasn't doing anything for me. Even the music course wasn't helping me. Like I was like I want to do this and it was good because I knew what I wanted to get at when I was there. And then worked a few jobs while still producing like every single spare minute of my time and then worked a full-time desk job and I think that was like the realization that I was taking my laptop on the train bus and train to work and working on music, got to work, charged my laptop, went on my lunch break, got like mad mex or like mex computer whatever,
Yeah.
put out my laptop, started working again, and I got my first ghosting client when I was working there. And you get deadlines, and you're like, well, I've only got a lunch break, um, and that job kind of drove me into the ground mentally. And when I took my first day off, I said to my parents, I was like, I don't want to go back. And funnily enough, my sister had been moved out for quite a while, and they were like, "Hey, well, if you want, we can turn your sister's old bedroom into a studio."
Hey.
And so here we are, like
Yeah, I
my
saw speakers
sister's
in the
old
top
room.
corner, so I was like, damn, must be a studio going on in
Oh,
there.
oh, this no, that's actually like soundproofing foam.
Oh
Yeah,
shit. Okay. Oh, there we go. Inside
this
look
is the
at
vibe we got going on.
studio. Okay.
Bit of a
Okay.
mess. I was doing some recording yesterday in terms of like video content, but yeah. So basically after that, I was like, okay, this is going to be amazing. And then I quit my job, and because I hadn't taken any leave, they paid out like I think it was like 4 grand, and that was like the
Oh,
most money I'd ever had because I was very like I was very bad with like keeping money.
no, I totally I feel that.
But when you work in the city, dude, food's expensive, but
Oh, I
you gotta
know.
buy it or bring it in yourself. And
Mhm.
when you bring food in yourself, you're never gonna eat it. Um, and especially with good restaurants around.
Oh, I
But
know.
yeah, so like I just started investing into all this gear to turn this room into a studio with that friend. And then yeah, after that, did it full time for about a year and a half, and then realized it was becoming a bit more of like a money hungry thing to keep afloat because like I'm paying rent, living at home, just like a percentage of my earnings.
Oh,
But
of course. Yeah.
before I before it wasn't a percentage, it was just like, okay, flat rate of this, and I would have months go by where I wouldn't make a dollar.
Damn.
And I'm like, I've got this. And my girlfriend's like, bro, you need to sort this out. And I'm like, it's fine. But then mentally, I could see myself crumbling. I'd start being like, hey, do you need me to mix and master a song? Hey, do you need ghosting? And it's like, dude, you literally just finished this song. Like, I'm asking for too much. Like, I wasn't letting the client come to me with what they
Mhm.
wanted. And as soon as I was like, okay, cool. I need to get back on my feet financially. And my friends were working at a cafe, and I got a job there. And then they actually opened their own cafe, so they were supporting me for quite some time. And then I actually had a quad biking accident and tore my AC ligament in my shoulder. I
Oof.
don't know if you can see the
Yeah, I see the scar.
badass scar there, but the accident kind of made me realize like, oh shit, like, am I doing the right thing with my time? Like, I could have died, and I got away with just a quad bike landing on me. So basically, I got an instructor misled us off like a 6 meter drop on the
Oh
sand
shit.
dunes, and
That's what,
the
like
quad
nine
bike.
feet?
I don't know feet, not very well,
I
but
think, yeah, a
it's
meter's
it's
about 3
it's
feet,
high,
I think. So yeah, holy shit.
and yeah, so I've landed on my back, and the quad bike's come and landed on me at the bottom,
Ooh.
and yeah, I was lucky to get away with just the shoulder injury, but yeah, and then after that, like that was just before Corona hit that I got the surgery for it. But I was basically out of action. All I could do was music. I couldn't
Mhm.
work. I was like, okay, cool. I have to get this going. And I had a good influx of clients at that time, and it kept me really busy. And I was like, yeah, okay, for sure. This is like round two of you definitely are going to do this seriously, because otherwise you are not. Like, this is your chance. And yeah, so now here we are with like a lot more work coming in, a lot more people trusting me with their music, which is really awesome. And like I like to put it as you trusting me with your music, because it's very much not mine, but you're
Definitely not.
trusting that I can understand your vision and
Mhm.
move it to a further point that you're happy with and I'm happy with. Yeah, I'm just grateful that people would choose me over other people.
Oh, I totally agree with what you said. That last point you made, when you were talking about music being someone, like it's someone else's music. Like, of course,
Mm,
like you have to be like, okay, I'm gonna step back and I'm gonna do what you want me to do with it. And through
yeah,
that, like you said, people are starting to trust you more. They're coming to you. The client is coming to you, and I mean, you're thriving, obviously. Like
it's pretty
sometimes,
good.
yeah, sometimes little accidents are we sometimes we need awakening. We need a wake up call, whether it be like a conversation with like a girlfriend or like a family member, or fuck, God willing, it's not like like as bad as the accident that you have. But sometimes we do need a little bit
Yeah,
of like a yo, wake up, bro. Like what are you really gonna do? And I mean,
yeah,
I'm glad everything worked out great for you. I'm glad you're okay, and it was just a shoulder injury that you recovered from. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, I mean, keep on pushing, keep on growing, and I really see I see a lot of potential in you, and we us at On the Rise Music, we really hope that that you just keep growing and you just keep learning, because I mean, don't, like
thank
you
you.
said, don't confine yourself, and you're not, so you can literally make
Yeah,
it in any aspect of music, and then just pull yourself out of where you were, and then you'll be like, oh look, I do this too, and
yeah.
there you go, like you're on, so
Thank you, man.
yeah,
Appreciate it.
keep on pushing, keep on pushing. Well, I could sit here and I could chop it up with you all day. I've had a great conversation with you just about life and
Me
about
too.
music in general. But I have one last question. It's a two-part question.
Sure.
What is one thing that you would tell a young producer, someone starting up, or even like a younger you? And what is like one piece of advice that you would tell like a young producer, a younger version of you? And second part, Is there anyone that you're listening to or collaborating with right now that you want to give them like a little shout out, give them a little platform?
Ooh. All right. So the first one, I swear by the RTFM statement of read the fucking manual. Um, it's so important, and other than that, but patience in the sense that your best ideas aren't going to come as soon as you start. It takes a long time to start developing ideas that you're confident in. Sometimes, even today, I'm not confident in some things that I do, and I'm like, nah, not quite my day. But you really have to take your time and focus your energy in the right places. Like if you're experimenting all the time, just finishing songs, it's so much better than trying to make a bass line and then just going, nah, I can't do this and putting it down for the day. Like late night sessions were always a good thing for that. That like, when you're tired, I always say it's like after the midnight mark, when guys start texting chicks like, hey, you up?
Yep.
It's like that for your brain with music. Like you disconnect, you stop overthinking it, and you're kind of like at this tired point where like you just develop this experimental mindset. I would also collaborate with people even slightly better than you
Oh, definitely.
or worse, because they might have some very strange techniques that you're like, oh wow, that's really cool. Like you did that by accident because you had no idea what the hell you were doing, but it sounds great. And yeah, you learn so much from other people. I've been trying to seek mentors my whole career, and like less collaborative, more mentor based, and only just kind of landed a couple people who will always give me the time of day, which is super good, super valuable. But yeah, collaboration, read the manual, stay up late because when you're tired, you work better. And people to shout out. The music that I've been making with Travis, Ned, and this chick, Jasmine Khan, has been really cool recently. I'm hoping that it comes to comes to the world by hopefully the end of this year. Um, yeah, all my recent music's basically been with them, so that's exciting. I'll give a shout out to all the Icon guys. I watched your interview with Free Will the other
Oh
day,
yeah, yeah, yeah. That was a fun
and
interview.
yeah, I actually I messaged him afterwards, and I was like, oh, you're into the binaural beat stuff too. Like I use it for sleeping, so
Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah.
yeah, I was like, had a good chat with him about that. Yeah, so shout out to the Icon guys, and one of my friends, Brandon Jonak, he he's been producing some really good R&B tunes with, I think her name's Sophie something. I may be wrong, but yeah, he's an awesome producer. One of my good mates. He moved to Brisbane not too long ago, and yeah, he's just about to open up a studio over there.
Oh, all
Yeah,
right.
it's exciting times for him, and yeah, all my friends just trying to keep them on the up and support them as much as I can.
Well, definitely. Yeah, you got to help out. You got to help out with people that like you got to ride with your day ones. You got to keep your circle small. And
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, I mean, you gotta, yeah, like all my friends have the same mentality. Yeah, you gotta help each other eat. Like when one gets on, you gotta help everyone else get on. Because
Oh,
I
and
went,
Daniel Tonic is making some beautiful progressive house stuff at the moment.
all
I've
right,
been
all
helping
right,
him out with like mixing and mastering and like vocal editing and stuff, and it's gonna be really nice. It's kind of like Rufus, but a bit more laid back. It's really nice.
all right then. I mean, I'm sure that that we'll definitely put these. We'll definitely shout these artists out in the video too. We'll put them like
For sure,
in the video link and everything.
man.
But with that being said, thank you guys for tuning in. I want to give another shout out to Dominik Dale for being an amazing guest today. Go ahead and follow Dominik Dale on Instagram. That is all one is Dominik Dale. Don't forget to listen to his music. Don't forget to like and subscribe for the YouTube channel for new videos. And again, we got a single, Dominik Dale and who else coming out this Friday?
Ned Nedar.
And Ned R coming out this Friday. So look forward to that. And turn on the notifications for our YouTube channel. Thank you guys for coming in, and peace out.
Thanks, man.